Good morning, everyone out there in YouTube land. I am Steven from Deleted Scenes, and I want to welcome you to episode 28 of Saturday Serial. I hope everyone is doing well this morning. I know that we had a long week. Also a long work week. I know I'm feeling it right now. A little more on that later. I want to dedicate today's show to missing friends and those in the line of fire into Ukraine. We're praying for you. We're going to have fun this morning. We are going to talk about some entertainment news. As I said, it's been a rough week for a lot of people, but we're going to have a little bit of fun this morning. As those of you who are fans of the show may know, our friend and host Matt Allen is currently traveling in the good old US of A. Unfortunately, his internet connection is less than great, so he might not be able to join us this morning. Hopefully he will before the end of the show. In the meantime, hey kids, you have me, and nothing's going to change here on good old Saturday Serial. I would like to thank everyone for joining me here today. I want to tell everybody a little something about myself before the show gets started. As you may have noticed, public speaking is not my forte. If you had told me this time last year that I would be hosting a YouTube show, I wouldn't have believed you. But in the time of the lockdowns, I started watching a lot of YouTube shows, Midnight Seds, Latino Slant, and thanks to them, I met Matt, and now I'm hosting the show in his absence. I found a fellowship here, a lot of friends, family, and people that I've come to think of as family. So, I'm happy to be here with you guys, and I really do appreciate it, and I don't say it near enough. So I love you guys in the chat. The guys who comment after the replays, I really do appreciate it. And all right, enough of my yakking. We are going to go on with the entertainment news from Mr. Greg Dean Smits of Rotten Tomatoes. All right, the weekly catch-up. Tom Brady goes from the big game to the big screen. An 80 for Brady and more movie news. Jerry Bruckheimer wants to play with Beyblades. James Mangold signs on for a Buster Keaton biopic. And new projects for Robert Downey Jr., Channing Tatum, and Bill Murray. We are going to scroll down here to our next story. This week's catch-up brings you more headlines from the world of film development news, covering such new titles as Spy Blade, Kraven the Hunter, and new roles for Tom Brady, Robert Downey Jr., and Bill Murray. This week's top story: Tom Brady goes from the big game to the big screen. An 80 for Brady. Perhaps more than any other professional sport, there is a long tradition of professional football players making the transition from becoming movie and TV stars. This legacy includes Jim Brown in The Dirty Dozen, Terry Crews in TV's Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Alex Karras in Blazing Saddles, Bubba Smith in Police Academy, Carl Weathers in Rocky, and most notoriously, O.J. Simpson in the Naked Gun films. A few weeks after officially retiring from the NFL, I'll believe it when I see it, after 7 Super Bowl wins, former New England Patriots and Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady is the latest football star to make the jump. Brady is producing and will co-star in a road trip comedy for Paramount Pictures called 80 for Brady. Inspired by a true story, 80 for Brady will center on a quartet of older actresses. It's morning, bear with me. 80 for Brady will center on a quartet of older actresses as a group of best friends who take a road trip to Houston in 2017 to see their favorite player, Tom Brady, of course, playing the Super Bowl. The 4 stars will be Sally Field, who coincidentally starred with former college football star Burt Reynolds in Smoking the Bandit, Rita Moreno, Jane Fonda, and Lily Tomlin, the latter 2 of whom are also the stars of both 9 to 5 and Netflix's Grace and Frankie. And alrighty, well, we're going to get a movie about Tom Brady. I just hope they don't spend the entire movie calling him King, like they did with LeBron James in the new Space Jam film. So, chat, what do you think? Tom Brady transitioning to the big screen. Well, good morning, Ann. Happy to see you join us. I know you have a lot on your plate. I'm always glad to see you, fan and friend of the show. And we also have our pal Brandon, the anime guy, who has his own channel and his own show, which will be starting at, I believe, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time after our show's over. Oh, hell no. Tom Brady is not an actor. Very true. I mean, he might survive a 30-second commercial, but as for a feature film, yeah, I don't think he can cut it. And if LeBron and Jordan are any indicators, don't do it. Absolutely not. I agree. I was not a fan of the second Space Jam movie, as I think I've made clear on other shows. I thought Jordan was a little bit better than his. Had to move the show back to 12 p.m. EST. Oh, okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen in the chat, if you're a fan of our friend Brandon, the anime guy, his show is going to be on 1 hour earlier today. So make a note of that. I'll drop the link in the chat for his show later on. In the meantime, we're going to move on to our next story. Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer ensemble adds 3. All right. As fans of the show will know, we've been keeping up on the goings-on behind the scenes with Oppenheimer, and Christopher Nolan has built quite a cast for this movie, and it just keeps getting better and better. former pro athletes as actors rarely work out. Do like what Dan Marino did and go into commercials. I've got to agree with you on that one, Brandon. As I said with Brady, I think he's better suited for commercials than feature films or television. You love Hercule Poirot. So do I. I have not seen Branagh's version yet. I have some catching up to do there. I loved the David Suchet version on PBS. To me, he's the definitive Poirot. Peter Ustinov was pretty good too, who played the character in films when I was all itty bitty. All right, back to the story. Director Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer, set to be released July 21st, 2023, is his first film for Universal Pictures after shifting away from his long tenure at Warner Brothers. Has always been billed as an ensemble, as well as a biopic about the life of early atomic bomb co-inventor J. Robert Oppenheimer. Before this week, the cast of Oppenheimer included Cillian Murphy as the title character, Emily Blunt as his wife, and Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., Rami Malek, Florence Pugh, Dane DeHaan, Josh Hartnett, Matthew Modine, Jack Quaid, and Benny Safdie. We can now add 3 more, starting with Alden Ehrenreich, who of course was Han Solo in Solo: A Star Wars Story, and David Krumholtz from Saving Private Ryan. I don't recall him being in that film, but that's probably a misprint there. I know he was on the TV series Numbers. If he was in Private Ryan, I missed him. Followed by a few hours later by Death on the Nile actor and director Kenneth Branagh. The Kenneth Branagh news also came along with the first official image of Cillian Murphy in character as J. Robert Oppenheimer in a black and white still that appears to be a direct homage to the cover of the book American Prometheus, The Triumphant Tragedy of J. Robert Oppenheimer, by Kai Bird and Martin J. Sherwin. Filming of Oppenheimer begins this month on location in New Mexico, the same state where the first nuclear bomb was tested as part of the Manhattan Project. That is a large ensemble cast. And it just keeps getting larger. Kind of like the cast list for the new Doctor Strange movie. And I have the same worries for this that I have for Doctor Strange. That's just going to be cameos the movie. But I have more faith in a Nolan movie than I do a Marvel movie at this point. So yeah, I like this cast. I just hope that there's enough room in the movie for all of them. All right, let's move on here to our next story. Classic Spider-Man villain joins Kraven the Hunter. As of Spider-Man No Way Home, certified fresh at 93%, there have been 8 live-action Spider-Man solo films featuring a rogues gallery of over a dozen of Spider-Man's classic comic book villains. Absolutely, Chris Nolan is a visionary director. We'll see how he handles so many egos. Oh yeah, because he has plenty to deal with there, and hopefully he'll be able to round everybody up and and make a great film. I got to think, based on its pedigree, that it's going to be an Oscar contender. If being an Oscar contender means anything anymore. Yes, and here's something that we can discuss that goes a little off topic to everyone in the chat. What did you think of the Oscar nominations? Do you care about the Oscars anymore, or do you think there should be a parallel award show, or for that matter, do you think there should be a parallel Hollywood that actually makes entertaining films for a change? Let me know either in the chat or in the comments, because I'm very curious to see what everybody out there thinks. Because I'm somebody, I love movies, or at least I used to. I don't love them anymore. And the Oscars used to be, dare I say it, my Super Bowl. This year, I don't think I'm going to be. I'm probably not going to watch it myself. Their choice of hosts tells me that they just don't care, or they're tone deaf. That's my personal opinion on it. No, I stopped caring about the Oscars years ago. There should be a parallel Hollywood, maybe even a true People's Choice Awards. Yes, because what is currently referred to as the People's Choice Awards is a joke. I don't think that people actually really get to choose that either. They give those awards to the same people every year. You know, I'm not sure if the People's Choice Awards was even televised this year. I'm really surprised that the Oscars will be. After this year, I think it's going to go straight to YouTube, like the Golden Globes did. You know, again, if I can go off on a bit of a rant at the moment, I am really sick of Hollywood. You know, there's been a real disrespect there in the last few years against fans. You know, if we don't like something, that we're some sort of hysterophobe, and I got to tell you, the shine is off. You know, we have gotten a look behind the scenes, and I personally don't like what we're seeing. I mean, you know, there were some good movies last year. I like Dune quite a lot. As fans of this show know, I gushed over Dune. I loved Old Henry, which was this independent Western. But Into Heights was really short-shrifted and unfairly maligned. But, you know, to me, those are the top three. Spider-Man was good. Ghostbusters was great. Past that, it was a real mixed bag. You and me both. I have to get ready and going. See you later, Stephen. Cheers. Thank you very much, Brandon, the anime guy, for joining us for the first part of the show. Brandon has his own channel. His show is going to be starting here in a little over an hour. So after we're done here, please go over to Brandon's channel, and I'll see you in the chat over there. Alrighty, we're going to go back to our story. A new villain is joining the Kraven the Hunter film. This, of course, is the spin-off from of Spider-Man. Despite how many of them have been on screen to date, something that has long been curious is that Spider-Man's very first supervillain, the Chameleon, first appearance in The Amazing Spider-Man #1 in 1963 has never made the jump to the big screen. That's finally about to change, but it's actually going to happen in a Spider-Man movie. As Fred Heckinger, I hope I pronounced that right, of White Lotus, I believe that's an HBO Max series, has been cast as the Chameleon in Sony's Kraven the Hunter, starring Aaron Taylor Johnson as the title character. When Russell Crowe was recently cast, the announcement mentioned that the cast of characters would include members of Kraven's family. And Kraven the Hunter and Chameleon are half-brothers in the comics, so the inclusion makes sense. J.C. Chandor, writer-director of Triple Frontier, it's a movie I highly recommend, is directing Kraven the Hunter, which Sony has already scheduled for release January 13th, 2023. Okay, so comic book fans, we are going to see Chameleon on the big screen. He will be portrayed by Fred Heckinger. I haven't seen The White Lotus, so I'm not familiar with him. I don't know if he's good casting or not, but I'm willing to give him a day in court. So chat, what do you think? The Chameleon on big screen, and the character has been cast. So let me know. Chat, comments. What are your thoughts? Are you happy to see the Chameleon, or do you think they should hold him back a while? Because it looks like we're getting him, and we're getting him very soon. All right, we're going to move on. Yes, I've been seeing this around the net. James Mangold to direct a Buster Keaton biopic. An early high point in Robert Downey Jr.'s acting career was the 1993 biopic Chaplin, Fresh at 60%, which received 3 Academy Award nominations, including Best Actor for Downey. Although there have been dozens, perhaps hundreds, of biopics about movie stars, the silent era remains relatively untapped, and many films about silent movie actors are actually fictionalized, such as the 3 biggest silent era comedy stars, Charles Chaplin, Buster Keaton, and Harold Lloyd. Only Chaplin to date has received a high-profile Hollywood biopic feature film. That may soon change in a very big way, as director James Mangold, recently of Logan and Ford v Ferrari, both great movies right there, is now developing, as both producer and director, a biopic about Buster Keaton, whose films included Steamboat Bill Jr. and The General. I love The General. You have to see that movie. It's how he survived that movie is a miracle. The biopic, which is being produced for 20th Century Studios, will be an adaptation of the book Buster Keaton, Cut to the Chase by Marion Mead. And an adaptation reportedly has already been a top priority at the studio before Mangold signed on. There is not yet any indication of who might be cast as Buster Keaton, a screen actor known for his innovative and daringly athletic and acrobatic stunt work. In addition to Ford v Ferrari, James Mangold's most notable prior biopic was the Academy Award-winning Johnny Cash project Walk the Line. Certified fresh at 82%. Great movie, my favorite movie of 2005, Walk the Line. Joaquin Phoenix is excellent in that, as well as Reese Witherspoon. The whole cast is excellent, to be honest with you. This news comes as Mangold's next film, Indiana Jones 5, enters a lengthy post-production phase over a year before its release next summer. June 30th, 2023, a release date that I will believe when I see it. a lot of problems behind the scenes on Indy 5. I wish him luck. I hope it's good. Okay. A Buster Keaton biopic. I'm wondering who they're going to get to play him, because Buster Keaton was one of a kind. And for anyone who's ever seen his films, I tell you, those old school silent era guys, they were the total package, man. Seriously. They did a lot of their own stunts. Whenever you see Buster Keaton or Chaplin taking those falls or dangling from some incredible height, they were doing that for real. There's a reason that Jackie Chan and Buster Keaton are normally discussed together. They had a lot in common. So if you've never seen a Buster Keaton film, you're doing yourself a disservice. Please go out there, seek him out. Seek out silent film, because I don't think the silent film era gets its due. It doesn't get the due that it's deserved from younger audiences, for sure. So if you're watching the show and you're from Generation Z, by all means, please seek out silent film. You're not going, I'm not steering you wrong. Trust me. All right, we're going to go back to the chat here. And ladies and gentlemen, the beautiful and talented Wonder Julie is in the chat. Hello, Julie. How's the internet out there? I know from Matt's previous video that he was having some issues. I was kind of hoping he could join us for the show today, but I understand. I've had my share of issues. As those of you who are fans of the show might remember, a couple of weeks back, I did the first 10 minutes of the show with my mute button on. So I had to go back and restart the show. So Julie, please give Matt our best. I know that he does have a video coming up, and he has a new one out as of yesterday. So those of you who are fans of the channel, and if you have not yet seen Matt's video, please give it a watch, share it out, give it a like, and also go to Julie's channel and please sub to her channel, show her some love. LOL, not the best. He says hi. We're getting ready to head out to the Mardi Gras parade. Oh! Yes, Mardi Gras time. Party on. Yes, have fun, please. Send Polaroids. It's going to be crazy out there, I'll bet. All right. Thank you very much, Julie, for stopping by, and hello back to Matt and yourself. As we go on to our next story. More Robert Downey Jr. news. Robert Downey Jr. to take on classic thief character Parker. Oh, outstanding. I'm a fan of the Parker books. So let's move on to this story. I'm curious to read this one myself. Thank you. We will do some videos. Take care. Hugs. Yes, Julie, take care. Thank you very much for stopping by. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, please sub to Julie's channel. And we had Brandon, the anime guy, joining us earlier in the show. His show will be 1 hour earlier today at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. And that will be right after we get done here. We're going to move on to our news story. We have news in the criminal world of Parker. Some weeks, one star will be everywhere in the news cycle. And this week, that star was Robert Downey Jr. We've already discussed his presence in Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer and James Mangold's Buster Keaton biopic called to mind Downey's role in Chaplin. But it's this third story that is actually specifically all about him. Robert Downey Jr. is reuniting with Kiss Kiss Bang Bang screenwriter Shane Black for a new project for Amazon Studios. The title of the movie isn't yet known, but it's believed to be an adaptation of one of the 24 novels by Donald E. Westlake that featured his popular thief character Parker. Parker, no first name, has appeared in several films, including Point Blank, certified fresh at 92%, The Outfit, under a different character name, and Mel Gibson's Payback, rotten at 55%, a score that I highly disagree with, and a 2013 Statham film simply called Parker, rotten at 40%. Yeah, that was a bit of a misfire, but worth a look still. Whichever book this movie is adapting, Downey is expected to be playing Parker himself. Okay, yeah. Parker, back on the big screen, and about damn time. And Shane Black is definitely the man to bring him to the screen. Okay, I was a big fan of Point Blank and Payback. Parker is a man of few words and singular vision. And if you like John Wick and you're not familiar with Parker, there are many parallels. Wick has a much higher body count for sure, but I tell you, Parker is someone not to be trifled with, for sure. Don't double cross him. No, whatever you do not. Your end is nigh. Point Blank starred an actor that I was a big fan of named Lee Marvin, a man who left us far too soon. And anyone who's not seen Point Blank, I highly recommend that movie. The Outfit, which had Robert Duvall in the Parker role. They changed Parker a little bit, gave him a different name, but yeah, that was definitely Parker. And Mel Gibson's Payback film is essentially a remake of Point Blank. Also, that movie made some changes from the source material, but the changes they made didn't hurt it overall, in my opinion. I think this Rotten Tomatoes score is not deserved. It should be higher. There are two versions of Payback, and they're both good for different reasons. So seek those out. All right. Parker. I'm a big fan. Has anybody read the Donald D. Westlake books. Has anybody seen any of the film adaptations up to now? Let me know in the chat and in the comments. Because if I could go on all day about Parker, unfortunately, we have more stories. So we're going to move on. Channing Tatum to star in remake of German drama System Crasher. Okay, I'm not familiar with this. Let's see. Channing Tatum's latest film, Dog, certified fresh at 76%, opened in theaters just last weekend, and his name came up again in the news this week. Tatum is attached to star in MGM's English language remake, the 2019 German drama System Crasher, certified fresh at 95%. Might have to look this one up. The original film focused on a troubled 9-year-old girl who had been labeled a system crasher by social workers for her inability to stay peacefully in any foster home. That role in the remake doesn't appear to be cast yet, but Tatum is likely to be playing an anger management coach who helps her. Okay. I'm not familiar with this movie. Sounds interesting, though. The reviews obviously were very good. So, chat, System Crasher. Have you heard of it? Are you familiar with it? Have you seen the film? Did you like it? Let me know. I'm not familiar with this movie. This one got by me. So, and usually a movie that's well reviewed, regardless of the country that it's from, usually I hear something about it. This one got by me, folks. So, all right, Channing Tatum in a remake of the German drama System Crasher. Let's move on. And Aziz Ansari enlists Bill Murray for his directorial debut. Aziz Ansari, a Netflix comedy series Master of None, came to its apparent conclusion in 2021 after its third season. It's Netflix. I'm surprised that any show got a third season. And now we know what he is planning on doing next. Ansari will make his feature film directorial debut with an untitled dramedy for Searchlight Pictures, in which he will also star alongside Bill Murray. Ansari, who also adapted the screenplay from the nonfiction book Being Mortal, Medicine and What Matters in the End by surgeon Atul Gawande. Sorry if I butchered your name, sir. The number one New York Times best-selling book delves into the challenges physicians face to both improve the quality of life and the process of its ending. The characters to be played by Ansari and Murray aren't confirmed, but this writer's guess is that perhaps the former is a stand-in for Dr. Gawande, and the latter might be playing one of his patients. Though the dynamic could be just as possibly the opposite. Searchlight Pictures expects to release this film sometime in 2023. Okay, sounds interesting. Do we have any Masters of None fans out there? I haven't seen it myself. This sounds interesting. Aziz Ansari moving into a dramatic role. Could be interesting. He'll be directing, and he's got Bill Murray along for the ride. Bill Murray, FYI, owns a home not too far from my present location, and he can sometimes be spotted in public. As some of you may know, he's a co-owner of a minor league baseball team, the Charleston River Dogs. So he shows up at their games from time to time. So it's always good to see him on the big screen. I'm surprised they managed to nail him down for the part. He's kind of notorious for for showing up. I find a point on it. I know that there are some directors who don't know it's going to be in their film until he shows up on set. Hopefully that won't be a problem here. All right, we're going to move on to our next story, and all right, this is going to be one for anime fans. I wish I wish Brandon were still here, but he had to move on to prep for his own stream. Producer Jerry Bruckheimer backing toy and manga movie Beyblade. All right, let's get the skinny. A very common assertion in recent years is that Marvel movies are some sort of unstoppable force and prevailing influence in all things pop culture. There are, however, signs of what might be coming in the future, especially if you've been paying attention to actual comic book sales in the USA lately. Put plainly, Japanese manga has long been popular in the USA, but its share of sales is exploding, and in 2021, it's accounted for 76.7% of all comics sold in the USA. Presuming the kids of today are going to grow up into adults who also want to see their favorite manga characters in their own movies, one could argue that right now is the time for a savvy producer to snap up the rights of some of the most popular franchises. Enter Jerry Bruckheimer, whose lengthy resume of hits includes Beverly Hills Cop, Top Gun, Bad Boys, Armageddon, and the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Bruckheimer is jumping on the manga and related toy bandwagon with Beyblade. Initially started as a Japanese line of spinning toys, Beyblade eventually inspired multiple manga series, some of which were also adapted into anime series. The deal Bruckheimer has struck with Paramount for Beyblade appears to have ambitions of a multi-film franchise. The article focuses mostly on original toys, but given the amount of pre-existing narrative material, it may be likely that some of those stories could eventually be adapted. Yeah, guys, manga has been kicking some serious ass in the in the comic books arena. Yeah, and Marvel and DC better damn well step it up, because they're losing customers by the day. Personally, I'm more of an indie comics fan myself. I'll be honest, when it comes to Marvel and DC, I just got sick of the bullshit. And I got sick of the virtue signaling and the identity politics. And I've gone on, and I'm not going to go off on a rant today. Manga is where it's at right now. And independent media is where it's at. Beyblade, I'm going to have to ask Brandon during his show later about Beyblade. I'm not really familiar with it, but I'm going to look into it now. And any film adaptation I will definitely be there in the theaters to see it. Jerry Bruckheimer has been in Hollywood for quite some time. I find his films to be entertaining for the most part. If there's anyone who's going to produce a Beyblade adaptation, I think he's the man, because I think he's one of the few in present day Hollywood who's still interested in entertaining people. So yeah, Beyblade. Ladies and gentlemen, in the chat, in the comments, Beyblade adaptation on the big screen. Anime fans, let me know. What do you think of a Beyblade film? All right, wow, that appears to be it. We breezed through the stories. It was a quick week. We have Robert Downey Jr. appearing in 3 films, including Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer biopic and a Shane Black adaptation of the Parker character, creation of Donald E. Westlake. We got a Buster Keaton biopic being directed by James Mangold that is yet to be cast. Channing Tatum in the remake of a hit German film. And Jerry Bruckheimer producing a Beyblades adaptation. And folks, I think we've established that manga is currently where it's at. All right. I'd like to bring up a little bit of personal news. As some of you may be aware, I am a credited associate producer on the documentary In Search of Tomorrow, which made its premiere last week. And I'm happy to inform you that the reviews for that film have been excellent. 4 and 5 star reviews across the board. So I'm really happy about that my name is on something that people are enjoying. And that's all I want to do. If there's any way that I can bring great entertainment to the masses, either by appearing on this show and others like it, or being involved, even if it's just in a minor way, I'm here to do that. And unfortunately, I was not able to attend the premiere due to COOF restrictions in California. And I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole about mandates or getting the jab. I think there are enough YouTube channels to do that, and that's not really our forte here on Saturday Serial or on Bud Boy Productions. We definitely have our opinions, Matt and I, about certain issues, but we're here to have fun. And so the important thing is In Search of Tomorrow has been released. It's out there, and I'm an associate producer on that film, one of many associate producers, and it's getting good reviews, and I'm very happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that people are enjoying it. And as far as any video release dates, I believe that's going to be coming very soon. I do not have the date in front of me, but I'm going to let you know. I love you guys. And like I said, I don't say it enough, and I'm going to start saying it more in these shows. To everybody at Midnight's Edge, Latino Slant, Black Death Gaming, the Bad Movie Night Podcast, Matt, if you're out there and you're listening, you guys inspired me to come onto YouTube to be here and to hopefully bring a good hour of entertainment every week to the masses, because I think they need it right now. And it's been a rough last couple of years for a lot of people. And if this show helps to alleviate some of the stress, then I'm happy, because that's why I do it. Around this time last year, I lost my job that I'd been in for a number of years because I refused to bend a knee. And I know I'm not the only one that happened to. Now, I've been able to sustain myself over the last year. I've taken some temp work, which what I was doing yesterday, which is why I was late to my Pulp Culture Minefield gig. But I know I'm not the only one that happened to. A lot of people have lost work over the last year or so, especially either because of refusal to bend a knee or because they just lost business. A lot of small businesses went under this year. And that saddens me a great deal. In my own town, there are a number of small businesses that have boards on the window now. And I'm really concerned for them. And I hope that they land on their feet. If you, I know I talk about supporting independent media. I also want everyone to support small business. My father was a small business owner. Auto parts and eventually bonsai trees. So some of you who know me may know that I grow bonsai trees. I get that from my dad. And I lost him a few years ago, and I miss him every day. And I'm kind of in the weeds without him, which is one of the things that I'm glad I have you guys for, because I have somebody that can be a sounding board that I can talk to. So, all right, I don't want to bring anybody down too far. Like I said, this is an entertainment show, and that's why we're here. And you guys have really encouraged me after what's been a very rough year. But I'm here. I'm here for you guys. I'm here because of you. And I love you, and I thank you. I want to thank everyone who stopped by the show today. Ann Bryant, who's a very close personal friend of mine, a woman who has a lot on her plate, who found time to stop by the show today. Of course, our good friend Wonder Julie, who's currently on her way to a Mardi Gras parade with our pal Matt Allen. Yes, so videos coming up from the two of them. The twin flames are together again. And of course, our friend of the channel, Brandon the Anime Guy. His show is going to be starting here in a little over a half hour, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, 1 hour earlier this week. So please go and show his channel some love. I'm going to sign off here. I once again want to thank everybody. Like, share, and subscribe. I am Steven from Deleted Scenes. Before I forget, I am going to be appearing later on tonight on Rambling Canucks channel for karaoke Saturday night. That will be at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am also going to be joining Jedi Bill 797, who recently hit over 600 subscribers. He's well on his way to 700. I will be joining his Sunday Western Theater, and we are going to be watching the movie My Name is Nobody, starring Terrence Hill and Bud Spencer. Jedi Bill also has a show later on today, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for a Saturday Action Theater, and he's going to be watching the John Carpenter classic Escape from New York. So hopefully I'll have some time today to jump over there and join him. I am also on the panel for Pulp Culture Minefield's TGIF show on Friday afternoons. And you can catch me in the chat over at Latino Slant and Midnight's Edge. My link to my Twitter is at the top of the comments page. I am always up to some shenanigans, so find out where and when by following me on Twitter. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for joining me, and I'm going to sign off. Enjoy your weekend, and as Bill and Ted said, be excellent to one another.